information concerning the hot spots, water temperature, and the conditions of your favorite Florida getaway. Sponsored by the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Good morning. It's 8 minutes past the hour. We're glad you joined us here at the Weather Channel. We're checking out the winds from coast to coast, starting out here.
Every year, American business wastes millions of dollars on international calls by using the wrong.
His wife fried it, and they both drowned. Held it up to his own head, just like that. She started laughing. He said, "Don't laugh, you're next."
The master of nightclub comedy will delight you with the funniest video ever. Now, here's how to order. Call the number on your screen and ask for the Foster Brooks video for only $19.95, plus $4.95 shipping and handling retained.
If you're about to travel, watch the 5-day business planner here on the Weather Channel at 20 minutes after every hour. You get a comprehensive national report that covers the forecast over the next 5 days. Watch the 5-day business planner coming up soon on the Weather Channel. Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
This weather and your health is sponsored by Visine with Allergy Relief. Gets maximum relief as you get the red out. Well, here's a look at grass pollen conditions around the country. Highest concentrations in the atmosphere right here in the Four Corners region, Arizona through Utah and Colorado, up into Wyoming. Around Salt Lake and Grand Junction, as well as Albuquerque, if you have itchy, watery eyes, the sniffles, that sort of thing. It could very well be the grass pollen that is aggravating your allergies. Same story around Tampa and Orlando. Mold spores are the highest in the eastern area, particularly high over Florida. Extremely high concentrations, as a matter of fact, due to the wet weather and the warmed, hot conditions lately. Problems as well, nation's capital up towards Chicago, back to Kansas City, south of Dallas, Little Rock, and Memphis. So if you have allergy problems, if you're sneezing, watery eyes, if it's not the grass pollen, it could very well be the mold spores. Heat indices is not a big problem east and through the nation's midsection today, but out over the southwest, especially in the lower Colorado River Valley, you should be extra careful and be sure to slow down and drink some cool water from time to time. No air stagnation expected today. However, we do have international weather for you coming up.
Allergy eyes. Sticky, itchy, red. If allergies are making your eyes miserable, an ordinary eye drop isn't enough. That's why there's Visine with Allergy Relief. It's specially formulated for maximum relief. No other eye drop is more effective, so it relieves the itching, burning, and stickiness of allergy eyes. So get Visine with Allergy Relief and get maximum relief as you get the red out.
It all runs together. Time for our jobs, ourselves, our families. Is there something that connects us? only cellular service that has MobileLink makes it easy to stay connected almost everywhere, all the time, or just whenever.
Make sure your local cellular service has MobileLink. Call 800-995-4000.
Inside this precious package is the photo and personal history of an actual living, breathing, wonderful child who urgently needs your love. And Children International wants to send you this kit absolutely free and with no obligation, so you can see for yourself one little boy or little girl overseas who wants to be your sponsored child. Call now and tell us if you prefer a boy or a girl. We'll select an individual child and rush you her photo, personal history, and more. Then, if you decide to become her sponsor, your monthly gift is only $10. This $10 program is possible because we keep costs down without sacrificing the care your child receives. But this precious package is free with no obligation. So call now for the photo and case history of one little child who needs you.
Call 1-800-284-9183. That's 1-800-284-9183.
Good morning. It is 18 minutes past the hour, taking you to Europe. If you have a trip planned this weekend or this week, I'll tell you what, it has been very, very warm. In fact, you can pack lots of shorts. If you're heading to London, we've had quite a bit in the way of rain and cooler readings, but to the east of that, lots and lots of heat. 73 in Frankfurt, 81 in Berlin, and you can see a slightly cooler across Scandinavia this morning, but it is still right about noon hour across Europe, so lots of time to warm up. Checking out the satellite, then you can see how the clouds are rotating around our area of low pressure, and in fact, the clouds kind of moving up in a clockwise direction. That's how an area of high pressure rotates here. And with this high entrenched, nothing can really break through it. So we're just getting clusters of thunderstorms kind of developing underneath the ridge and passing on through the mountains. But a big curl in the clouds over Iceland, just bringing a few isolated showers to the British Isles. Back to the maps and quickly checking out the forecast. Low will develop over the British Isles, and that will keep temperatures slightly cooler.
There are no fax machines here. Let's check out this morning's weather scene at Vantage Point. We're still seeing a lot of cloudy skies masking the eastern seaboard. Lots of low and mid-level cloud covers, so don't expect a whole lot of sunshine today. This has really been our... Already, though, there have been a few showers flaring up over extreme southwestern or southeastern Arizona, around Pima and Cochise County. Scattered rains around Tucson, Fort Huachuca, and around Douglas, Arizona this morning. Lots of showers and thunderstorms, too, bubbling up across the southern plain states. And also looking at some moisture plaguing the east. A wave of rain showers and thunderstorms, too, coming in across the eastern Great Lakes, and more wet weather draped back over towards New England. As we zoom in just a little bit closer, you can see how most of the rain action is to the north of the New York State Thruway. Lots of rains just north of Interstate 90 at this time, with showers and thunderstorms rumbling around Watertown onto Syracuse, and more wet weather draped over towards the Capital District, around Saratoga Springs and around Troy and Schenectady, seeing some scattered rains this morning. Also picking up a little bit of leftover rain, too, for northeastern Ohio. Yesterday, you folks around Cleveland really got nailed. Parts of Lorain County picked up over 2 inches of rainfall. Now, luckily, the rains have eased up, but we still have a few leftover sprinkles around Trumbull and back over towards Ashtabula County. Picking up lots of showers and thunderstorms, too, flaring up right across coastal waters of Florida. Especially heavy rains around Appalachia Bay, and more showers and thunderstorms, some pretty heavy just off the coast of Tampa and around St. Petersburg. And then we'll pick up some widespread showers with some embedded thunderstorms coming in around Abilene and Mineral Wells, Texas, and more wet weather too around the Red River Valley. All across the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, you better allow yourself some extra driving time to get to your destination, as there are some scattered rains along Interstate 35 and likewise I-20. Back down to our weather map we go. We'll check out the weather all across the country. In the west, it's the same old song and dance with that monsoon moisture flowing in. With the moisture combining with that heat, we'll see more showers and thunderstorms bubbling up during the day. And for the east here, too, a rather soggy scenario. We've had this front all week long, and it has simply not made much progress whatsoever. And as the front again tries to work its way towards the eastern seaboard, it's going to be kicking off more showers and thunderstorms. Now in the northeast, well, again with the close proximity of that front, we certainly can't rule out the possibility for more scattered showers and storms. So keep that in mind for those of you around Boston, Providence, New York City, even around Bethesda, Maryland. Still that chance for a few more lingering showers and storms today. I think one of our biggest concerns, at least so far for the morning hours, is the fog. After seeing yesterday's rain, the ground is pretty moist and damp, and conditions are quite favorable for fog. It's very thick around Lewisburg, West Virginia, even down towards Augusta, Georgia. Visibilities are hovering very close to zero. Into the plain states we go, we have the moisture combining with some upper-level disturbances that are sliding southward, and that's helping to spawn some scattered rains. Showers and rain showers around Minot, North Dakota, and more rains draped southward over towards Dodge City, Kansas. Farther towards the west, though, you are searing hot. More record heat fell by the wayside yesterday around Idaho and Utah. Even Nevada, record high was set for Ely with 95 degrees. And today, too, is going to be a real pressure cooker across the west. Very warm and very toasty throughout most western locales. And again, something else that we have to be concerned with today will be the potential for strong thunderstorms anywhere throughout the Rockies and the Southern Plateau and across the Plain States, too. A chance for strong to locally severe weather. And with the front kind of draped along the eastern seaboard, here too, a chance for some rough weather taking place later this afternoon. There's that front. That's our old nemesis. Again, it has not been budging very quickly over the last few days or so. And as it gets bogged down, the most comfortable comfortable temperatures across the east. Highs around in the 80s around Chicago, Detroit, and Cleveland. But lots of heat around Dallas, and more heat too around Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Tucson. Across the eastern seaboard, again, keep those umbrellas close at hand.
Ask yourself, why should you have to wash all the dishes before you wash the dishes? With the Maytag Jet Clean dishwasher, you don't have to. Its 43 powerful jets scrub every surface. It filters the food particles and disposes. Maytag is the dishwasher that asks the question, who needs you? Where have I heard that? Maytag, the dependability people.
Now Glade carpet potpourri is 5 times better than baking soda.
It's 5 times tougher.
Improved Glade carpet potpourri absorbs tough carpet odors 5 times better than baking soda.
It's 5 times fresher.
New Glade carpet potpourri in a new pack formula too for wet pet accidents.
It's 5 times better than baking soda.
Fresh from Glade. S.C. Johnson Wax.
Good morning. It's time for the Florida forecast, which is sponsored by Panama City Beach, home of the world's most beautiful beach. As we look at the satellite picture this morning, well, unfortunately, we're looking at especially some clouds, let's say, around Tampa Bay this morning and on up through Jacksonville. Lots of big thunderstorms last night, yesterday afternoon, and last night around Miami, producing funnel clouds. The same stories will head up through Naples and into the Tampa Bay area. In fact, let's take a look right now at the radar picture. A little bit on the busy side this morning, right about the Tampa region. You can see some thunderstorms just offshore, and these have basically been fairly stationary, kind of wobbling about Pinellas County. So big-time thunderstorms. If you're heading out in the boat right now, probably best just to stay in port here for a little bit and wait to see if these thunderstorms pass, because it's kind of nasty out there right now. Today's outlook for thunderstorms, we'll look at the rest of the nation in a minute, especially for Florida, though we're looking at the chance for strong to severe thunderstorms today, so keep that in mind. And as you can imagine, the sunshine outlook looking fairly grim for most of the state. Water temperatures running in the 80, 70 degrees at Daytona Beach, and we're heading for highs in the mid-80s.
To all the families and honeymooners who plan to come to Panama City Beach, Florida this summer, we just want you to know our beautiful beaches suffered no damage from the recent storms and floods to the north of us. Here on Panama City Beach, the sun is shining, beaches are snow white. And best of all, many hotels are offering special discount rates. So, what are you waiting for? It's time to go to the beach.
Panama City Beach is home to the world's most beautiful beaches. Call 1-800-PC-BEACH for information.
Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
Good morning. It's 5:30, very early on a Saturday morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. You're probably all geared up for the weekend and wondering what the forecast is going to be. Well, we'll get to that in just a few minutes. Let's review what happened yesterday and look at the current conditions. Yesterday, this is Miami, Florida. Thunderstorms spread throughout the entire state of Florida, dropping rain, hail, and in some cases, yes, funnel clouds. This funnel cloud was spotted just to the southwest of Miami International Airport. Of course, it is a funnel until it actually hits the ground, and then it becomes a tornado. No damage reported from the funnel, though thunderstorms did scatter minimal damage in other areas of the state. And you can see how the thunderstorms developed across the state of Florida. This is a 30-hour loop showing us what happened yesterday afternoon. The thunderstorms popped up throughout the state, actually rotating here right along this trough, a big-time trough, really digging itself all the way into the Gulf of Mexico. We have a lot of moisture coming off the Gulf of Mexico. The thunderstorm developed, and it was a rough one out there. Here's the current situation. Big-time thunderstorms rolling on across Lubbock and Abilene, Texas. For the most part, it's clear from around New Orleans on through Birmingham. A beautiful morning out there this morning. I was driving in, of course, Weather Channel located in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was gorgeous outside. The moon, kind of about a half moon or so. It's just beautiful out there. Some thunderstorms still remaining, though, for the west coast of Florida. If you're taking a boating trip or getting an early start on your fishing trip this morning, well, we do have showers, as we did this time yesterday morning, right around Tampa. In fact, we had special marine warnings around Pinellas County. Those are about expiring. Would not be surprised, though, to see these reissued. And these thunderstorms are moving off to the northeast at about 10. No water spouts reported, although that is a possibility. So you want to keep that in mind. You don't want to be out there fishing when this cluster of thunderstorms is just offshore. Looks like you're okay around the Sarasota area. So around Sarasota southward, you're okay for right now. As we expand on out now, look, we've got this frontal system. Remember where we saw the showers and thunder showers and that strip of clouds across Georgia? Well, that's the front right there, very well defined. It's very juicy to the south, actually fairly dry and fairly cool this morning, as I mentioned, around Atlanta. We had some fog this morning around Asheville down through Chattanooga. We don't have it drawn on here, but from Chattanooga to around Knoxville this morning, Interstate 75. Advising no travel this morning if you don't have to get out there early. The fog is very, very dense. And of course, you have to drive slowly and use your low beams. As we expand on out, we have some fog as well around Jamestown, down on through the Pittsburgh area, and yes, around Poughkeepsie, and down on through JFK, we have a little bit of fog as well. Now, the focal point really for the weather throughout the next 24 hours will be our front that we've been watching along the East Coast for some time. It is become rather stationary, a little bit harder to find. It's basically the dividing line right now between some moist air to the east and the drier air to the west. We have an upper level system that has been spinning over parts of Ohio Ohio, producing some heavier rains around the Cleveland area. And a little disturbance kind of coming down across the Dakotas, bringing us some rain right along that ridge axis. In fact, as you can see, here's a little bit more in the way of moisture around Dickinson and down on through Rapid City. And of course, you can see the dew points, the difference here right along the coast compared to as you head inland. And basically, the higher the number, the more moisture available in the atmosphere. In fact, it's moist all the way around the Phoenix area. We're seeing some hefty thunderstorms here, and it's still continuing between Phoenix and Tucson this morning. All right, here's a threat for severe weather right along the front. There's an isolated chance of seeing a thunderstorm, but especially across Florida again. We're going to have to be careful down in this area. You want to check back with us throughout the day, and of course, if we have any watches issued, we will certainly pass those along to you. All right, here's the satellite and radar in motion, of course. We continue to watch the monsoonal flow as we do this time of the year. Complex of thunderstorms developing and dropping on through central parts of Texas. And then, of course, our activity that we already looked at across parts of Florida. We'll take a couple of stops. The first stop shows us some isolated thunderstorms moving on through the Buffalo area, and just some light rain from Elmira up through Syracuse, and a few isolated patches of showers moving on through Albany. But for the most part, things are not that active this morning across the Northeast. So if you're getting an early start, you may run into some isolated showers, but that's about it. Meanwhile, from Akron to around Cleveland, there is some showers throughout the area. As you can see, Portage County, right on through Medina County, some isolated light showers, but certainly have lightened up from what they were several hours ago. Meanwhile, some heavier embedded showers here from Lubbock on down through the Midland area. These are pushing off to the southeast. All right, heading on into North Dakota, some isolated showers from around Jamestown down through Huron, but these are sort of dissipating at this time. And as we check out temperatures, it's 70 degrees in Atlanta, 75 in New York, and 62. Very comfortable this morning around Minneapolis, St. Paul. All right, we'll see a little disturbance that's going to slide on across Minnesota today. Could bring some showers to Minneapolis and on up through Duluth. And once again, the west will become very active. We saw some active stuff around Cedar City, Utah yesterday with some very gusty winds and heavy rains at times, causing some flooding problems. So any of these thunderstorms across the west can also cause some problems as well. And we'll see scattered showers right on through your Sunday morning from New York City down on through Richmond and extending on through Florida once again. Rain, well, could be heavy around Boston and down on through Atlantic City, Richmond, but especially across central Florida. Once again, that's the area we're going to target today for severe weather. Will mostly be in the 80s from Minneapolis all the way to Cleveland for this Saturday. So still very comfortable out there, but of course it is July, and yes, the humidities are going to return. So you'll see the temperatures start to come up just a little bit as we head on through your weekend. We'll be back into the 90s across southern parts of Georgia by the time we head into Monday. All right, rain showers will be with us up and down the eastern seaboard for Sunday, and then by Monday, boy, the return flow around our area of high pressure brings more rain back across the eastern seaboard. So it looks like the rain will return. Well, coming up in just a few minutes, we'll take a look at the weekend travel forecast for some select cities.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Good morning. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks a lot, Jim. It's going to be a beautiful day across the lower lakes. A splendid day in the cards around Chicago, Arlington Heights, and around Skokie. Plenty of sunshine and a nice day for some backyard activities. Maybe like a little game of softball for later on today. Looks splendid up around Chicago. More nice weather, too, as we head southward, complements of high pressure. The nice weather on and around Louisville, on into Memphis and Nashville. Even in the Atlanta metro area, looking at some splendid weather, too, for your Saturday. However, right along the eastern seaboard, that's where the weather really starts to go downhill. There's a slow-moving front carving a path right across the eastern seaboard. It's a stationary front, and it's simply not going to be budging very quickly during the course of the weekend. And with the close proximity of that front, we'll be seeing more showers and storms. Also, you'll notice how the dew points are pretty high, too, right along the east coast, with some high dew points and lots of moisture available in the atmosphere. That's going to really help to fuel those showers and storms. Speaking of moisture, monsoonal moisture comes into play across the southwest. In the lower levels of the atmosphere, that moisture streaming in from the Gulf of Mexico, the moisture is being channeled over towards the Four Corners and the Rockies. And as the moisture combines forces with afternoon heating, that's going to spawn some showers and storms. We may also pick up a little wet weather, too, across the upper Mississippi Valley for later on today and tomorrow, as a little trough of low pressure sags southward from Canada that could bring some rains around Minneapolis and around Green Bay and Rhinelander. Heaviest rains today likely along the eastern seaboard, but with the clouds and the rain, that's going to hold back temperatures. Still rather mild throughout the east, but blazing hot as we head towards the west. Stay with us. Your Travelers Update's coming up.
437-500.
Good morning. It's time for the tropics. We take you off first into the Atlantic Ocean, where, of course, this time of the year it becomes a little bit more of an interest to us to watch, because a lot of times when we start out in June, when we start our coverage of the tropical season, a lot of times this part of the ocean is still very, very cool. And of course, for any sort of tropical formation, we need some warmer sea surface temperatures in the water, and we're just not seeing that in June. But come this time of the year, the water now starts to warm up, and we start to pay a little closer attention as to the big thunderstorm complexes that come off the coast of Africa. Now, we did see this complex come off, and it's sort of dropping a little bit further to the south, sort of blending into the intertropical convergence zone. And of course, it's hundreds of miles from Trinidad and Tobago area, where it becomes a little more favorable for development a lot of times when it gets into those real warm waters. But for now, we'll continue to watch this cluster of thunderstorms moving almost in a south-westerly direction. But this is about the only thing of interest right now across the far Atlantic. As we take you in a little closer, this is South America, the Lesser Antilles, and we noticed that there was a complex of thunderstorms sort of away, but it's really starting to fall apart as it's pushing very, very slowly to the west. So for now, really nothing of consequence to look at here across portions of the eastern Caribbean. Meanwhile, we take you a little bit closer to home, and we do have this swirl in the clouds. This is right over the Bermuda area. Has been producing some rain around the Bermuda region. And what we're thinking is that it is an upper level low, but it doesn't show any signs of tropical development until it really develops down to the surface. With the surface low, it still remains an upper level feature and just kind of continues to sit and spin. But we'll continue to keep an eye on it. But for right now, nothing is expected to develop out of this area of low pressure. Meanwhile, of course, our front has pushed off into the Gulf of Mexico, and we continue to see Florida very active, not tropically, but just thunderstorms continue to fire across parts of Florida. Meanwhile, we head you a little bit further to the west, and we're looking at the Pacific Ocean right now. And, of course, clusters of thunderstorms along our intertropical convergence zone. Nothing really too organized right now. Of course, we were talking about Gilma over the last several weeks. Well, Gilma now is nearly to the international date line. It is still a tropical storm. It cleared Hawaii. It cleared Johnston Island. It's really out of our area. Nothing really to worry about. But if anything does develop here, we'll continue to keep you updated. But for now, the tropics is fairly quiet. Now back to the lower 48, checking out the forecast with Rick. Good morning. It's 8:57 on a Saturday morning. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Probably checking it out outdoors. It's kind of cloudy. It looks like it's going to be an on and off sunshine day today, with a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon. Checking out the almanac page, our normal high today should be at 86 degrees. Normal low should be about 69. We were about that yesterday afternoon, actually topped out at 85. No precipitation picked up since midnight, and a record high, we're not going to see that, but that was set back in 1988 at 98 degrees. Currently, Central Park, we have cloudy conditions. The temperature is at 75 degrees. Very humid. Check it out. 91%. So kind of on the sticky side as you step outdoors. The winds are out of the southeast at 6 miles per hour. And the sky is cloudy. All right, it is a little on the hazy side out there across parts of eastern Long Island. If you're heading outdoors, well, keep it slow. If you're heading out by the Hamptons, we do have some hazy sunshine, although the fog is becoming less of a problem every hour as we get the sun working its magic on the fog. 72 at JFK, 74 in Teterboro, with part-time sunshine out there. Let's check out the satellite picture right now into motion for you, and you can see a big batch of clouds racing on through the state. Almost notice the curl here. Well, that's an upper level low. It's quickly spinning off across the lakes and on into Canada, and it's taking most of the moisture with it. For now, we're about quiet, but the rain is expected to fire later today along a frontal system. Right now on the radar scope, you can see how some thunderstorms kind of fired around the Syracuse, Albany, Binghamton line, and most of the rain showers now are pushing off to the north very rapidly. So if you have a trip plan to the north next hour, so you should be okay because the rain is really moving very, very quickly. Right now, from Poughkeepsie all the way down through Allentown, no problems with rain. Back to the maps, and as we check out the current situation, this front actually continues to bow back to the west a tad. Big area of high pressure called the Bermuda High that this time of the year sits in the Atlantic, trying to push this front a little bit further to the west. And right along the shore, it's still very humid out there. And just to the west of the front, we actually have a little bit more in the way of drier air from around Pittsburgh up through Buffalo and even down on through West Virginia. A little bit in the way of fog problems this morning here because of light winds and a lot of moisture around. Now, as we head on through your Sunday morning, the frontal system will slightly bow to the south a bit, and this front will continue to be the trigger for showers and thunder showers throughout the area, although probably Sunday will be the better day of the next two for outdoor activities, but you're going to have to keep an eye to the sky both days for the chance of seeing some isolated thunderstorms. Today, temperatures will be in the mid-80s, about where we should be with isolated thunderstorms around the region. Tonight will be a sticky one with some fog, a good possibility of forming there. And then as we head through the week, temperatures warm up, and we'll have a chance of thunderstorms right on through the week, so you're going to have to check back with us.
This is the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
Thanks a lot for joining us on this Saturday morning. It's the 30th day of July, 1994. Coming up in the next few minutes, we'll double-check today's forecast. We're also going to take a look ahead through at least the early part of next week. However, our first stop...
Good morning. We're looking at the northeast to be the trouble spot. Not right now. You don't have any problems outside with some fog. Visibility is now starting to reduce themselves around JFK and even on into the western parts of PA. And we expect rainy travel to develop later on today. Interstate 95 and 91 will give you some problems. And rainy travel will extend all the way down from Richmond on through the Wakin area and down on through Florida. In fact, let's take you into Florida. Some problems this morning with some very heavy thunderstorms. We have special marine warnings out for Pinellas County. In fact, we could see some water spouts coming out of these thunderstorms. None reported yet, but we'll continue to watch this area. Some big-time thunderstorms. If you're heading out on the boat this morning, maybe you just want to put off your trip for just a little bit here. Back to the maps then as we check out the potential for severe weather up and down the eastern seaboard with our frontal system, and especially across Florida for the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms here. And yes, the fog is a problem. In fact, advising no travel this morning if you don't have to between Chattanooga and Knoxville, at least for a time being, because the fog is very, very dense. Well, coming up, Jim and Cheryl will be along, and they will be checking out current radars in a minute.
Tony Gregory.
Hot around Frankfurt.
Cherokees. Broncos. Explorers. Pathfinders. Lasers.
series from Michelin.
Find Michelin and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Good morning. It's 6:57, very early. On a Saturday morning, you must be getting an early start on your weekend. Looks like we're going to see scattered showers and thunder showers over the next couple of days or so. Not a total washout, but you'll just have to keep an eye on the sky. Let's take a look at the almanac page. 86 should be our normal high. Yesterday, we topped out at 85. No precipitation since midnight. A record high, 98 degrees back in 1988. Currently, Central Park, we have 74 degrees. Very humid out there, though. A little bit of fog around the JFK region, so just take it slow. You could encounter some dense fog, especially as you get down onto Long Island. The winds are coming out of the southeast at about 7, and the pressure is on the rise. Across the area, then, it's 72 at JFK, 75 at Islip, and 75 up around the Bridgeport region. A little bit more in the way of sunshine as you head away from the ocean, but right along the ocean, we do have, of course, quite a bit of moisture kind of lingering across the island, so that it is bringing a little bit in the way of fog. Let's take a look now at the satellite picture on in motion for you. And we do have some clouds, upper level low. You can almost see the curl on the clouds here rolling on over Lake Erie right now, bringing some thunderstorms earlier this morning around the Cleveland area. Most of the precipitation now is heading off through the central parts of New York. We haven't seen any rain in our vicinity. Most of the rain has been just to our north around Poughkeepsie, and to the north of that. This rain actually is moving very, very quickly with this upper level system. After this rain batch moves on by, we should see clearing skies, but then we're going to have a frontal system that's sitting right on over us, and that's going to bring us with a chance of rain showers later on this afternoon. As we look at a closer view here, you can see the showers right now from around Syracuse on through the Albany area, and some heavy stuff right now over Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, heading off northward. Back to the maps then, as we check out the current situation across the country, actually across our area, if we could go to that there. There's the satellite once again, and the current weather map shows us our frontal system lying just inland, and what this actually is doing is separating the moisture air to the east of this front, and that's where we're seeing some fog problems this morning around the Boston region, Hartford down on through JFK. To the west of that, we have slightly drier air and a lot of fog. So if you're heading on southward this morning, getting an early start, you have some friends and family down around the Virginias, maybe give them a call. We have a quite dense fog here. Heading on through Sunday, then, the front is still with us, so it's going to be a trigger for some isolated thunderstorms even on into Sunday, although Sunday probably looks like the better day of the next couple of days. In fact, as we look at our forecasts, look for scattered showers and thunder showers today. Temperatures just about where they should be, in the mid-80s. And then as we head on through tonight, temperature at about 70, kind of humid around the area again. And then heading on through the week, notice how the temperatures climb with scattered showers and thunder showers.
This is the Weather Channel. Weather you can all...
By the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Good morning. It's 8 minutes past the hour. We take a look at the Boat and Beach report here, and we are looking at some breezy conditions along the eastern seaboard from around Boston Harbor down on through Long Island Sound and heading down toward Virginia Beach. And unfortunately, if you want to go to the beaches or have a boat trip planned, well, we're going to see part-time sunshine.
Small as 1/32 of an inch wide, about the thickness of a dime. In spring, homeowners may find what is often the only visible sign of termite activity: swarming. These termite flights typically begin in the southern coastal areas and move north with the spring weather. Ideal swarming conditions are temperatures in the mid-70s or higher, recent rainfall so the ground is moist and humidity high, bright sunshine, usually between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. To control termites and stop them from damaging your property, a termiticide barrier is applied to the soil at critical locations along the foundation. Your home is your investment. Protect it before termites attack. Good.
This is the Weather Channel. Weather you can always turn to for accurate, dependable weather forecasts 24 hours a day.
Good Saturday to you. You're watching Weather Channel. Of course, Rich Johnson here with Wade Harris, our director. Coming up over the next couple of minutes, your complete forecast. Also look at some very heavy rain, even some nasty storms off to the west of New York City. Our satellite photograph showing a couple tropical systems. One is in the California area, Baja California, that is. And this is a tropical weather system that will be curving away from the United States, but still some of the moisture will be heading into the southwest, maybe enhancing some of the thunderstorms. Elsewhere, we're also looking at more tropical moisture. The eastern Gulf of Mexico will have to keep an eye on this weather system because there is a potential for some development here. Although at the present time, this cluster of thunderstorms remains disorganized. Intense thunderstorms heading right on up into Pennsylvania, New York, and finally exiting Ohio, Cleveland, a very common 3 to 6 inch rainfall amounts north of Akron, 7 inches of rain, so rough conditions due to a cold front that is approaching the area and a high level of humidity that is currently in the air. As we check the severe weather potential for today, many different areas could see
the sounds seduce you. Be charmed by the smiles. Experience the adventure for yourself. Call 1-800-554-7900 and ask for a free India travel guide. Explore the mysteries. Observe the pageantry. Discover the spirit of India. India.
watching the Weather Channel. Accurate and dependable forecasts you can always turn to. And when you're away from your television, the Weather Channel forecast is also available from the following.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
It's radar roundup time, and as we show you the latest radar, we do have some showers and storms. State of Florida, also now in Georgia and South Carolina, more rain also beginning to build up right across the southern areas of the Great Lakes. We'll take you in, first of all, to a regional perspective showing from the Great Lakes right on back into Nebraska and Kansas. Showers and thunderstorms building up here. The most intense rain today, though, has been in Ohio and northwestern Pennsylvania. And in New York State, severe thunderstorm watch portions of your neighborhood as we see a weather watch that has been posted from New York into southern New England. Rain, the heaviest, now crossing northern Pennsylvania. Some of the rain probably heading over to the Socrates area. New York City, we do have a storm up Passaic County. It looks like we're up right around Echo Lake. This is moving east at around 30. Should be heading into Rockland County shortly. So we head into Ohio, Cleveland. You're drying out after about 3 to 6.
3 minutes from now, a heart attack victim will be rushed into this emergency room. Medication will be injected. IV fluids will be needed. The patient will be protected from infection. Breathing will be assisted. And one more life will be saved. Thanks to advanced medical techniques and the material we call plastic. Right now,
look at the current weather map, and again, you can see where the snow is flying, winding down throughout the Colorado Rockies on into the Wasatch Mountains of Utah. Take a look at a few radars here. We'll find not all of this is reaching the ground either. So the radar kind of telling us a half-truth, but some of this is, and it is going to make for some wet pavement. It is also going to mean some pretty tough travel for some of you into the next several hours. Portland, you're just starting to see some of this moisture moving on in. You can certainly get a feel on the radar for the steady onshore flow with the westerly winds here. It's going to keep some of that moisture coming in as we go on into your overnight. Salt Lake City, seeing a break in some of the action. We've had some snowflakes flying here, making for some pretty picturesque scenes, but some pretty tough travel, wasn't it? And you had to keep the kids pretty bundled up as well. Some of that snow was heavy at times. Visibility was down to a quarter of a mile, and temperatures have dropped to around 30 degrees. So while it may look pretty on the countryside, you saw folks there struggling with the wind and the snow, and the elements there making it feel a bit brisk. Again, there's a look at your precipitation forecast. Although this is winding down, maybe still some of the highest elevations may see maybe 3 more inches or so. could find some more significant snow in through the Cascades of Washington and Oregon and on into the Colorado Rockies. Quick peek at temperatures, and a note, too, that if you're traveling out west, the winds are still brisk this evening. Let's go ahead and take a look now from the current map on into your forecast.
We roll into that forecast now. Here's your Monday early evening look, and we do still have that wet weather stretching from the northeast all the way down toward the Gulf Coast, and some snow, as Sharon mentioned, around Salt Lake City and heading up into the Cascades. That's into the 30s and 40s in the east. And as we look to the high temperatures, it will be another not so bad day during the day tomorrow.
Not so bad temperature-wise. It's a bad night, though, for travel in many parts of the nation.
But if you have to venture out, you'll want to wait for travel-wise. We'll have it for you right after your local forecast.
In creating the new KBKids.com, we went to the experts. They know what's hot. Now you can too. They know exactly what's right for them. You can too. In fact, with KBKids.com, you can be almost as smart about toys as they are. Hey, come on! Only hopefully a lot neater. KBKids.com. You get toys. Now you can get all the hottest Pokemon stuff at KBKids.com.
Everyone knows what it's like to be congested, but now there's a new kind of relief. New Afrin No Drip Nasal